Oh, shit. I fucking missed it. Looks like we got gap fill city on GME. The rug was pulled. Man, we'll see what happens here. Usually the first pull, like, there may be like a little bit of a dead kick bounce, but it looks like at this point the top is probably in on this thing. So if that's the case, I mean, what we're gonna have to do, guys, is kind of come in hot on some of the other ones. I think we'll have to take down fucking AMC today, maybe for the gap fill. If these things follow through, the one that's probably really easy to borrow is this Fossil. Fossil. We could take down Fossil too. So these are probably a few to just kind of keep on your watch list just in case. You can see this one was right at 25, $10 stock. It's easy to borrow, so that one should be okay. We don't necessarily know, right? Like if this holds and it takes down all these stocks, but if it does, and you can see like it just got bought up on the support, the algos are really kicking in on this thing the last few days. So you get like $100 bounce on this thing, right? But most likely these bounces now fade. So if we keep getting lower highs on this thing, then what we got to be doing is taking all these little piggies down. This one is hard to borrow, but we can go in hot on AMC, right? This AMC is probably a big gelatinous turd. EXPR is another one that we can take down. Fossil. I would stay away from the ones like this. Oh, shit. Fuck. Look at this thing. This one is a squeezer. Fucking pre-market. You got to do all the fun stuff in the pre-market these days, it looks like. This Costo, this one's got a spread on it. I was trading it yesterday. The float on it is just too low. So like that's something I would stay away from. But like you could go in. SPWR is like one of these ones that's like really up. This is another one I think we can do. So I would add all of those as potentials. So you go in Fossil, AMC, EXPR. If we need some shorts, we can roll with those. I don't know if it's going to be, but, we'll see what's going on. In terms of the general market, guys, the market was getting smoked yesterday. We didn't even notice it was getting smoked because it was fucking... it was a clown show yesterday with like so many of the small caps. As you know, I don't like trading small caps. They're for degenerates. But every blue moon, you got to kind of dumpster dive into them. It just happens. Every blue moon, a man's just gotta wade into a country bar. A brown man's just gotta wade into a country bar and take a redneck in his arms and make sweet love to her with a cowboy hat. That's just how it goes. Sometimes we got to change. But the market did have like this one day kind of doohickey, I guess would be the proper terminology. One day doohickey. We're already opening green today. We got to be mindful of two things. Number one, does this go green to, do we go in green, do we get a green to red type of move? Or do we get a green to red type of move? Or does it actually follow through? Now, the market's holding on the 20 SMA, which has been a proper bounce spot for the last couple months. We very well might. How they do these things on the market is, they just turn the algos on right at the support levels, and they let them roll. But there are a whole host of stocks that are sitting on support that I think could be a good bounce spot. So see this thing? You got this thing at 220. It came down to 160 yesterday. I mean, that could be bouncy. It's already up fucking 10 points, which is a big piece of shit. 'Cause I wanted those 10 points. But in general, if this thing pulls back, That's what happens, Mike. I mean, that's what they do. Why else would they be support? This is a primetime bounce spot. I keep that on watch for a bounce. I think this Baidu, this was 260. It's down to 235.20 SMA. It hasn't really tested that in its whole run. I think that's probably pretty bouncy. If you need a swing trade, PayPal is sitting on the 50 SMA. Once again, like I wouldn't chase any of these things up like 10 points at the open. Let them pull back, but these are going to be some nice spots. You know, we can't just sit there and trade these fucking high short interest, low flow thingies all day, every day. We're too old. My cholesterol's high enough. I mean, it'd be nice to just take a little break. It'd be nice to take a little bit of a break for a couple days, right? My arteries are clogged enough these days. I keep these kind of boring tech stocks on your watch list. I think Peloton is at a very nice, easy location too. Nice, easy location on Peloton. I mean, you're almost at the 50 SMA. You're at the lower Bollinger Band. The stochastics are at 16. Anything under 20 is considered oversold. Is it as sexy as, you know, is it as sexy as going balls deep on cost? No, it's not. But it'll save you some stress and, you know, you get a little bit more consistency to some things. I like the location on Peloton. If it dips down even a little bit more, I'll probably, I'm hoping it fades off a little bit here. If it dips down close to that 50 SMA, I'll probably take this bad boy for a swing trade. A couple things to be just mindful of on some of these things too. You know, they're having talks that, you know, they're saying some of the brokers are going to shut down trading on some of these. And, you know, once they start putting limits on things, I don't know why they do that, but sounds pretty stupid. But if they start putting some limits on some things, I noticed personally at E-Trade and Ameritrade, they were fucking around with the margin on these things. You know, I was short like 4,000 shares of this thing for like a hot second. I covered it for like minus 10 cents because I realized I had too many shares. And then I re-shorted and they'd only let me short like 1,000 of it. The same thing happened with BBW. You know, like this thing, they pulled the margin on this thing. This thing was like, you could get 4x margin on this thing like 5 days ago. Then yesterday, they pulled the margin on this sucker too. So you can't get as many shares. And actually, they had the margin in a way where, you know, you're basically just paying straight cash for these things. So just something to be mindful of. I think this one is a primetime fader too. You know, Bed Bath & Beyond's like a huge ripoff. I get these fucking candles from here, and they're like $40. Like, who the fuck would pay that except the trader that lives on monopoly money? Bed Bath & Beyond's a huge ripoff, but they do got like some nice towels and stuff. I think if this thing holds under this level, we take this piggy down. Same thing. Watch this about 19 spot on Fossil. We take this piggy down. Then we're going to go long some of these tech stocks like PayPal. We won't trade PayPal because it's too thick. But Peloton, right? A Roku is sitting on the 20 SMA. So you got some nice locations on these. You can go in with ENPH. That one's looking pretty nice. Now, Peloton, like, you know, there's some of the regular stocks, like this Palantir, I think is probably maybe just starting its breakout. The range on this thing was sick. It chopped me up for like a hot second over here, and then it whoop. We were playing at end of day on the breakout. I used to get the $45. The range on this thing is sick. It's got liquidity. It is, though, one thing with this one, it does a lot of herk and jerks on it. It does a lot of herky and jerky on this thing. So that's something to just kind of be mindful of. It can be like a little bit of a pain to play just because you can see these kind of tails and stuff. When the range gets too wild, when there's almost too much volume in a stock, there's volume, and volume is good for stocks, but then there's almost too much volume. And this thing almost does too much volume. Like when you start getting into the hundreds of millions, you start getting into like a weird area where they just don't move as clean. Your ideal spot is like 10 million. 10 million shares a day with a small spread. 10, 20 cent spread, those stocks move the best. When they start doing too much volume like NIO, they just don't move clean, and you just kind of, they grind a little bit and then they pull right when you don't want them to. But I do like the, action on this one. I think it'll be okay. The news 2-3 days ago that, Biden plans on making, over time, all federal vehicles, right, electric. We don't have a date on like when he really is going to do that or if he's really going to do that, but it is probably something that is still a theme that should last for some time. So I think we still want to be playing this ride. I know it dumped end of day like with a lot of the other stocks. You've got a big breakout here. Like if it starts to push this 30 spot again and we start to get into this thing, I think this is still a theme that we have to play, which is American EV trucks, I guess would be probably the name of the game, right? Or vans. So you got Ride and then this Workcock. We've been having a lot of fun with this thing. I took this thing on the... Fuck, I had so many of this thing on the red to green yesterday. This thing is amazing. It's a great trader. The range is expanding on it. The ATR is expanding on it considerably. Let's add all of these ones. So you got Workhorse, you got Ride. Those are the two best. If you want the two turds that never move, right, then you can go with, if you want to like lose money on some, you can go with Excel or HYLN. I don't know how many times I've tried to trade HYLN in the last fucking 2 months, but they are good. You're right, BTC is going. I think that Riot is in a bounce spot here, and this Mara is in a nice bounce spot. You can see this thing is actually really coiled up. What I mean by really coiled up is, you've got like this just contraction in range that's been happening. If you look at like a 30-minute chart here, you got a nice contraction in this. If you get this thing over maybe like 1880, we're gonna get ourselves like a nice little goose and a gander kind of thing on the gapper side. So let's just rewind the tape so you guys know what to do, right? We got long tech stocks that are on supports, right? So you got your ENPHs, your PayPals, your Roku Dokus, things of that nature, right? We want to be looking for potential shorts in these short squeeze stocks, especially if they start banning certain tickers. So you got your Fossil, your Blackberries, so on and so forth, right? So anything that's been a short squeeze, your AMCs, your BBWs, you definitely we want to definitely take down BBWs. Right, so that'd be your Bed Bath and Beyond. We want to take down those, and then we want to think about like, okay, what are the stocks that have like really, really good range that, have nice charts, right? So we have AI. We've got, right, our Palantir. These are like kind of our daily traders that have charts that are shaping up, that have very, very nice range. Fuck that RKT. I would put Big C on that list too. Big C is like another company that's got actually a decent amount of shorts on it, but it's just starting its move, and it's probably like a regular company. Man, we missed. I wouldn't worry about that. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Let's see if we missed any gappers here. This is a whole host of these bad boys that are starting. I'm gonna try to fucking silver stock going. What the hell just happened here? Let me see what's going on with silver. Okay, so you got 4% move in silver. Hey, on a long-term basis, keep an eye on this. You got kind of a setup happening on silver that a setup that's happening on silver that may start to go. We'll keep an eye on this. So this may be something. AG, huh? I haven't traded this thing in a decade. Yeah, a longer term breakout on this one. Billion share market cap. You know, I would actually add this to the gapper list. I would add this to the gapper list for later. I would only hit this on dip. You've got a longer term breakout. This is like a weekly chart. That's going back to, you're breaking a level from 2014. You're breaking a level from 2014. That's hot. AAL. You know, this thing was getting squeezed in the morning, and now it's getting unsqueezed, if that's the proper terminology. This thing was getting squeezed, now it's getting unsqueezed. We could probably put it on the list in case it, you know, starts to curl its way back. But once these things, like if you reverse almost all your pre-market gains, I don't like it because you end up with too much supply overhead, right? There's too many bag holders overhead, right? Imagine there's like just some kid, right? Some 36-year-old kid like sitting in his mom's basement, right? Reading Pamela Anderson magazines and, right, crying for his meatloaf, and he ends up buying this thing on his Robinhood account at $27, and Robinhood sends him a message saying, hey, we're going to pull your margin and you can't trade this. And he's like, fuck, if I don't get this thing to $35, then all of a sudden my mom's going to take away my Pamela Anderson nudie magazines and I'm not going to get the fucking meatloaf. What am I going to do? And then now you're stuck. Do I sell it, not sell it? And then you're like, no, I'm just going to hold it because I'm a hodl guy. Next thing you know, like this thing starts to push higher, and then he unloads his 6 shares on your head, and you're like, oh, fuck. You know, somebody just sold, you know, 6 shares right on top of me. So you're going to have like 1,000 guys. I got 6 shares right on top of you. It becomes very tricky. You got to clear out a lot of supply when they fall too much pre-market. Just be a little bit careful. Hims and her health. The fuck is this? Huh. Hims, is that the boner stuff that they have on Instagram? Amazing. I didn't know that was a public company. Silver, IPOE, fuck that thing. I think SPACs are going to be kind of dead for a hot little bit. SKT, fuck that thing. Cotton candy sweet and low. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Man, what song was that? Anybody know? Fucking Andrew will know. Cotton candy sweet and low. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Man, that was hot. That was the hottest song in like 96. Junk. Let me see if I can find that thing. That was nice. Hold on. That's going to bother me if I can't find it. Cotton candy, sweet and low. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Oh, 69 boys. Man.
Is it possible to strengthen the bladder by practicing holding in the urge to urinate? Many men think that they...
Yeah! Man, 1996 was a great year. Man, junk. Alright, that's the list. We're sticking to it. Short the turds like BBW, Fossil, AMC, long techs off support, and then we've got our daily rangers like AI, Palantir, and I think we're going to be good to go. Man, this ENPH is hot. That's the list, Kumar. I'm sticking to it. We may even put a little short on in fucking space if we need to. I think these things like BlackBerry and shit, I mean, they're done. But they may catch a quick bounce at the open. And then, guys, do not forget themes. What are the themes? American electric vehicles, vans, right? Cool. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Fuck no. AMC already went up. It was $2 a few days ago, Al. You know what? We may even hit a little lemonade. I would definitely be okay with that. DDD, potential red to green, sure, blah, blah, blah. But we have the plan. All right? We're going to long these stocks off support. We're going to short the turds. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. God bless America. God bless Robinhood. God bless Wall Street Bets. And God bless myself.